Winner take all time in the NBA and NHL, and FanDuel is giving you a shot to bring home a big win of your own. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 to bet on spreads, money lines, player props, and more. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS and make every playoff shot count. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. And today's winning ticket comes from D'Angelo McQueen, who sent this in last week. Didn't get a chance to read it yet, but he turned a $10 bet into a $1,181 profit. That is $10 into $1,181.04.
Damn.
On a massive same-game parlay between the Pacers and Celtics. The parlay was so long that he sent me 3 screenshots, and it doesn't even show where it starts, so I can't tell you how many parts it was. But between all 3 of these screenshots, he ended up turning $10 into $1,181. So shout out to D'Angelo McQueen for that.
I think that's his real last name, like Lightning McQueen from Cars?
He emailed it to me, so it's harder to fake an email address.
How bad have the NBA conference finals been? I mean, I shouldn't say bad because the games have been close, but they're going to be sweep. The Celtics sweep, and the Mavs will probably sweep tonight. I hate that it's Mavs Celtics.
By the way, and we'll talk about this in a sec,
it.
even if the Mavs sweep tonight, the finals don't start to June 6th.
Yeah,
But
I
8
know.
days off if it happens tonight. But let's start with the guards because they are red hot. I understand they lost to the Rockies last night, but they've won 9 of 10. It was a 9-game win streak, as Bull mentioned earlier, their longest since the 22-game win streak a few years back. They're the only team in baseball to win 9 of the last 10 games, despite the loss to Colorado last night, Bull. What has been the most impressive part of this Guardians surge over the last 3 weeks now? They've won 12 of 14, I think the number is.
Yeah, I think there's so many impressive parts about it, but the fact that you go back even beyond the 9 of 10 because they've won 12 of 14, and I remember that White Sox series a few weeks ago where they lost 3 in a row to the White Sox to start a 4-game series, and Stephen Kwan had just gotten hurt before that, and nobody was really hitting outside of Josh Naylor. That was healthy because Kwan was hurt. Fry had been hitting, and Naylor, and that had been it. Even Jose got off to a little bit of a slow start. Mm-hmm. But since they lost those 3 in a row to the White Sox, they salvaged the final game of that series, and the lineup's been great since then. Jose, even before that, but Jose's been sizzling hot and is back to a guy we saw every year before last year. Tyler Freeman's done a real nice job in the leadoff spot of late. And they're just getting contributions from everyone. But what's amazing is their 2 best players in April, Kwan's been hurt, and Naylor's been ice cold this month, and especially the last couple of weeks. I want to say he's like 4 for his last 40 or something.
It's under 100. He's like 093.
Yeah, I mean, he's been terrible lately. And, what are you going to do? Guys go through slumps. But to see his batting average and even his OPS under 800.
Bull, we did the argument a couple weeks ago. Who's a better hitter right now, Jose or Naylor? And you picked Naylor.
Yeah.
Since that day, and you could say I jinxed it, he has dropped 131 points in batting average since that day.
Jose is.
I feel really bad because it
has repassed Naylor.
It's bad.
He's the best hitter right now.
I think we all was in agreement that day that we take Naylor that day.
It hadn't just been a month. It had been since like May of last year that Naylor had been the better hitter. Not the better player, but the better hitter. But obviously Jose's been red hot. He's leading the league in RBIs. The lineup just in general to be there, I think 11th in home runs per game. The lineup, I mean, again, there's a lot of things to point to, but a lot of these guys in the lineup led by Jose has been the biggest part of the winning streak, I think.
Go ahead.
Well, Xavier got hit around a little bit yesterday, but the starting pitching, I don't know how they keep doing it. Mm-hmm. They keep finding ways to get it done. The bullpen's been terrific. Bull, you're right. It's somebody different every single day, and which is what good teams do. When Stephen Kwan went down, who would have ever thought that they'd rip off 9 in a row with him out of the leadoff spot? I mean, I think he was among the league leaders in runs scored, and maybe leading the league in runs scored. He's probably still up there, despite missing a month.
Yep.
Hopefully he's back this week, it sounds like.
I would assume he's back Friday.
I thought he'd be back now, but then they moved him to AAA for to finish off his rehab assignment. So I would imagine he's back for the weekend.
Yep.
But it's obviously that's a huge bat to have back. And I keep saying, I don't know how much longer this can go, and we're into June, and it's still going. I mean, they are for real. They got a better record than a lot of big heavyweight teams in baseball.
They're behind the Phillies and a half game behind the Yankees. That's it.
And they were ahead of the Yankees
They were, yeah.
Or no, the Dodgers. They're ahead of the Dodgers.
Yeah.
They were ahead of the Yankees, but the Yankees didn't play yesterday. The Guardians lost, and the Guardians popped below them.
The Dodgers got hit around by the Reds.
But they have a better record than the Dodgers, better record than the Braves, better record than the Orioles. I mean,
Braves took a big blow.
They're playing great baseball. Go ahead.
Ronald Acuna, that Braves thing kind of shaky. No, I think both of y'all hit exactly what I thought. The fact that they're doing this without Quan and Naylor being cold was very impressive to me. I mean, your two best hitters, and y'all still finding a way to out-hit a lot of teams. And then when you talked about the starting pitcher, my thing with everybody's fine. The Curry thing, is he only good for 3 innings? Because this is 2 games in a row, I believe, that he got to the 4th inning and gave up like multiple runs.
Yeah,
it could be. I mean,
is he a bullpen better
He
guy?
might be.
I don't think he's that good a pitcher.
Yeah, he's not elite in terms of prospect status. He might be a guy that's good one time through the order.
Yeah,
and that's once you get a second look at him is when he starts getting into trouble.
Because
he very well may be that guy.
This is 2 games in a row where he's giving up a ton of runs in 1 inning.
And there's some guys that are like that they struggle the second time through. So
hey, listen, he's their 7th starter.
True.
I mean, what are you going to do right now? Bybee, Allen, McKenzie, and Lively are all pitching well.
Yeah.
And 3 weeks ago, we were not saying that about any of those guys.
Yeah.
And McKenzie in May has been really good. Bybee's last 3 starts or 4. Allen, I think 4 starts in a row. And Ben Lively, who doesn't – I mean, this guy's a journeyman. He's like 32 years old. He's barely played in the – like he's – I think from like 2017 or 2016 to 2019, he played for like 3 or 4 different teams, was up and down between the majors and minors. And then last year, he played a good chunk of the year with Cincinnati and was terrible. He had like a 5.50 ERA, and now at 31, 32, whatever he is.
It's wild. He was a top 100 guy a long time ago.
But that's a decade ago.
Yeah, I know.
He never panned out.
But the pedigree was there at one time.
But you look at his stuff, it's not that impressive.
Yeah, I know.
But he's done a nice job. He does, he throws strikes.
Yeah.
There's something to be said for throwing strikes.
Maybe he got...
And the thing is, and what has really helped him, probably compared to most of the other teams he's been on, is the Guardians play great defense at most spots. And so if you're a pitcher the ball's going to be put in play, you got to have a good defense to back you up.
And just like 30,000-foot view looking forward to next year, the year after, the year after. If I'm a pitcher, I want to go to Cleveland. If you're a guy who's trying to hold on in your career, you had success and then something went wrong and you're trying to fix something, come here.
Yeah.
They're going to straighten you out.
That's true.
It says it's maybe just getting with the right pitching coach. I talk about it in football all the time, getting with the right OC. But it seems like with baseball, you talk about guys coming here and that wasn't really doing a lot, but they come here and all of a sudden they figure things out. You got to give credit to that pitching staff and that defense that's behind them because they making them look really good.
And it's not just the pitching coach who's a great pitching coach, but it's the whole pitching infrastructure, which is a word we never would have used in baseball 10 years ago. But now it's a big part of it. It's like an organizational thing where you work on pitchers as a team.
So you say
the Guardians are as good as anybody at it.
So you said Shane Bieber is coming back for another year.
I believe so. Yeah, I think
if I were him,
he'll probably sign a 1+1 rehab next year. Maybe he's back in September next year.
He could probably get back before that. I mean, he had the surgery pretty early.
I don't know. I think
he might
August
be back.
is. I go back. John Means had a setback, but John Means didn't come back till September last year.
I got a question for y'all too about McKenzie. So you know how he opted not to get the surgery, and it started slow. Now he's pitching well.
Yeah.
Does this mean that he never will get the surgery now?
No.
I mean, probably not.
Well,
probably not.
You think he still will?
Not definitely, but
if he goes off a cliff, probably. Right?
The only pitcher that I can think of that never had the Tommy John surgery and opted not. Now, he did have a procedure of some sort after the season, but it's not Tommy John, so it doesn't wipe you out for a year or whatever. But the only other pitcher I can think of that did that and remained a good pitcher, not as good as he had been previously, is the guy from the Yankees, the guy from Japan.
Tanaka,
right. He did that, and he was never quite as good, but he was still good. But I don't think he ever had Tommy John surgery after that.
His velocity dipped but he was so good in pinpoint with his control and
Yeah.
his movement, like even his splitter afterwards. Was
Right.
Still a filthy
Well, that's the
out
key
pitch.
for McKenzie. I mean, his
Exactly. Exactly.
he's not going to have the same velocity, and he hasn't.
He hasn't. Who was it? I was trying to find the story that Zach and I wrote. I think it was Aaron Nola.
He did it also.
He rehabbed and never had
I
surgery.
don't remember that, but okay.
And it was back I think it was Nola.
But it's very uncommon.
I mean, guy with the Orioles this year, Bradish, is doing it. Is coming back without the surgery. He's trying to do it.
Okay.
So there's not a ton of them, but again,
Yeah.
it depends on where the tear is. We learned this when Zach and I were reporting out that McKenzie story.
Yeah.
A tear higher up is better. A tear lower almost always results
Yeah.
in surgery. And I don't know exactly where Tristan's is, but obviously it's higher up.
Right.
So that's why he was given the opportunity. He was given the choice, and he
Right.
chose to try and pitch through it.
It doesn't mean he's never going to have the surgery, but right now, like in the first month, I think we were all holding our breath.
Yeah. He's
But now
proven
these-
he can do it.
Right. And he's
So,
pitching well. I mean, it's
yeah.
4 or 5 starts in a row.
Yeah.
His last start wasn't great. He gave up the 3 solo home runs. But
I feel like he's always going to be a home run pitcher now. You know what I mean? Like he's
Yeah,
always
yeah,
going to
yeah.
give up a lot of home runs.
Right.
Just because
Well, not overpowered.
But
you,
that's
you
not,
miss your spot and it's gone.
But
you
I
just
feel
hope it's a
like
solo and not a 3-run.
for a championship run, like in the playoffs. That's what it's all about, right?
I mean, if you're getting guys out, you're getting guys out.
So you trust him? Who would you consider the ace right now?
Bybee.
Bybee?
Bybee, it's not close.
They don't really have an ace. Let's be honest.
See, and that's the thing. See,
I shouldn't even answer that because I'd pitch Bybee in the first game, but he's not an ace. He could be.
Yeah.
But I can't. He's not pitched well enough, long enough.
Correct.
To be labeled an ace.
That's
the Guardians
fair.
don't have an ace.
2 months from now, we may be talking differently about it. But to this point,
Right. It's not. They don't. Shane Bieber was an ace.
yes.
You know, and they don't have one right now. The Orioles have an ace, right?
Yes.
They have Corbin Burns. The Yankees, if Garrett Cole comes back, will have an ace with Garrett Cole. The Guardians don't have a guy of that caliber at this point. I think Bybee has that potential more, and Gavin Williams actually has that potential too.
Is he
but
still on
hasn't
the
pitched all
organization?
year. Well, supposedly he's
saw
making
him on
a
a milk
rehab
carton
start this week.
I saw him on a milk carton this morning.
By the way, the game I went to see Quan, Tugboat, which is the best nickname in the Guardians minor league system, he pitched. We'll talk about that later, but go ahead.